Hi, everyone, and welcome to the 4D Method 4D user group. Today is March 5th, 2025. This is meeting number 77, fighting number 77. On our agenda today, we'll talk a little bit more about the 4D Method user group, take a quick look at some of the upcoming user group presentations. We've got a busy year, some great topics out there coming up. We'll get some news, 4D news. Well, I skipped one. We'll get some happy hour review from our own Kirk Brooks, see what has been going on, being discussed and shown off in the weekly happy hour. Then we'll get some 4D news from Jim Sobczak and review a couple recent 4D blog articles. Also take a look at one of the recent tech notes in the knowledge base, and then get on to our main feature, which is Ricardo Mello showing us a little bit about integrating 4D with AI with the subtitle, Bring the Power of Large Language Models. I think that's what it means. LLMs to your 4D applications. My name is Brent Raymond. I do 4D stuff as a career, and I enjoy it. I also do other things, but today we're just going to focus on the 4D relevant activities. I also organize the 4D Method 4D user group. You can check out the schedule and all of our past presentations and information at 4dmethod.com, and I can be reached at 4dmethod@gmail.com. This is just a user group for people who develop 4D applications, who use 4D applications. We're just here on every couple of months to bring together the community and share new programming techniques like integrating 4D with AI. Very exciting. See how 4D is being used around the world. It's always very neat to see. You find it in the most surprising places sometimes. And it's a great place to find 4D development support or to offer yourself to show off your skills to find new customers. But in general, we're always just interested in what can be done, what is being done with 4D, and to get some great ideas. You too can be a presenter, just like these people on the schedule. On April 2nd, we have Mathieu Ferry and Damien Fuseau. I'm sure I'm butchering their names. I'll let them correct me when they're here on April 2nd. Now, this one is going to be a special meeting focusing on Visual Studio Code, VS Code for 4D developers, Code, Debug, and Copilot. Again, another AI integration reference there. This one, you're not gonna want to miss this one. We're gonna skip all the dog and pony show here and get right to the meat of it. And 4D is a bit of a outreach to the community to see what kind of features are in the development pipeline for the method editing and integration with VS Code, and what how we as the community see the features that they're developing, what we would like to see come first, so to say. So please do try to set this on your calendar. They're going to show off a few things that they've been putting together, and then also ask our opinion of what do we like best. So then we also have on April 30th, beautiful documentation made easy by Jim Carver. Hey, Jim. And then on June 18th, already middle of the year, summertime, at least for the Northern Hemisphere, list as objects. We'll welcome back Bruno Raymakers. Hello, also Bruno. Then we do have one open date. I'll be putting together a few dates for later in the year. If you've got ideas for things you'd like to share, it could be something new. It could be a follow-up to a previous presentation that you've already given. It could be could be a lot of things, surprising things, in fact. I don't even know. But we have an open date on August 6th, and then we'll have some more dates. So please do reach out to me and see what we'd like to see what you'd like to put on the schedule. And at this point, you can also decide not to do it live. Most people do choose to do it live, which is interesting. But if you'd like to just record something that you've been working on, product, component, plugin, application, something to show off. Hey, this is all about what we're doing with 4D applications and in the market of 4D. So go ahead and do that, and we'll get some eyeballs on it. You can see the schedule at 4dmethod/schedule. Now I'm going to kick it over to Kirk Brooks to talk a little bit about what's been being discussed in the weekly happy hours. Hey, Kirk.
Thank you, Brent, and thank you again for giving me a few minutes here.
Absolutely.
At 4D Happy Hour, we've been continuing on in our tradition. Just looking around, I think an awful lot of folks here have been to Happy Hour, but for anyone who hasn't, and for the future, it's a very casual user group that has been going on, coming up on 5 years this summer now.
Wow.
Surprisingly enough,
Nice.
really long
Well
time.
done. Yeah.
We meet every Friday afternoon, 2:30 Pacific time, wherever we happen to be. And it's becoming a little bit more structured. I generally try to set a theme or two. Recently, we've had some presenters that have been really informative. Doug Cryer made a nice presentation about interacting with credit card processors. Bruno Legay, excuse me, was here a few weeks ago talking about implementing all-auth 2. Last week, we took time to just read through the tech note about the 4D cache and talk about that. It's good sometimes to just take a little time and go back to the basics and freshen up your memory of that. I can guarantee this Friday we're going to be talking about whatever Ricardo is going to be demoing here, and undoubtedly we'll pull down his GitHub repo and just play with it. One of the things that we're able to do that is really kind of interesting and fun is share screens and just work with 4D, try things, which also makes this a great place to come if you've got, as you were saying, something cool that you've done, something that you just kind of want to show off. It's also a great place to come with something that that you're trying to make work and it's just not coming together. Frequently, those can be really helpful sessions for folks to, again, it's just like put it up on the screen, talk through it, get other people looking at it. 4D developers, wherever there's 3 or 4 of us, you've got 5 or 6 opinions about either what it should or shouldn't be. So, usually that's that will give you some ideas, if not actually just resolve the issues. It's open to everybody, whether you're new to the platform or you're an old gray head like many of us. You're totally welcome. Drop in when you want to. You can leave when you want to, and I look forward to seeing you there.
All right. Thanks, Kirk. Great resource for the development community. And thanks so much for hosting it for 5 years. Wow. Boy, that's quite a good run there.
I know I started when I was 23.
No, I'm serious. Yeah. Well, okay. Thanks, Kirk. And then we'll hand it over to Jim to talk a little bit about some of the news from the 4D company itself.
Okay, thanks, Brent.
Yeah.
And greetings to everyone from 4D land here. Um, Thanks, Brent, for inviting Ricardo and Ad and myself to participate in this month's meeting and all the meetings, actually. We really get a lot of pleasure out of attending and participating in these. So, and congratulations on meeting 77.
Yes,
And
thanks.
the lineup of speakers you have there are just amazing. You're getting some really interesting topics. You've always had interesting topics, but get better and better. So nice job there. Um, yeah, so we're really looking forward to Ricardo's presentation on 4D and AI. I know that this is a topic about which Ricardo and many of you in this meeting are very passionate. We got a little glimpse of what's coming today, yesterday, so really looking forward to this. So I'm going to keep my part short, so we can get right into the meat of the meeting here. So just a reminder regarding other 4D presentations coming up or presentations coming up. Just a reminder that a week from today will be Will and Ad's release webinar. Thank you for that slide. Yeah, a double header covering 4020 R7 and 4020 R8. So we'll be sending out reminders on that very soon, probably tomorrow. Something. So hopefully you can all attend that meeting. Um, Okay. And then I also wanted to make a brief comment about standalone 4D standalone applications. Um, the 4D sales team is fielding a lot of calls now to answer your questions, to work with you regarding the deployment of 4D standalone applications. It's changed a bit, but we do have solutions for just about all of you, no matter how you're using it or how you're deploying standalone applications. So please don't hesitate to contact your sales rep about that. Um, and then finally, just a reminder that Qodly is live now at Qodly.com and accepting your projects. Um, it's really easy to set up your free sandbox. Basically, it's like 3 steps, and you have a free sandbox that you can start using Qodly to play with. So hopefully you all get a chance to look at that. So that's it for me today. Brent, I'm going to pass it off to you and get right into this.
Yeah, no,
Thank
that's
you.
yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for always being available and
Mm.
ready to participate in the user group. And sometimes we get some inside scoop. Today it's the inside scoop is the release webinar. So that should be interesting. Some exciting f new features coming in R8, and it's always good to review the latest release. So then over to the blog. Speaking of which normally the latest blog articles almost always are about the are to do with the upcoming next release or our release. Just I like to highlight a couple of ones that jump out at me in these meetings. Doesn't mean that this is an exhaustive list. There's a whole bunch of great content on the blog. Uh, there's one on debugging 4D code directly in VS Code, which might be a good primer for the meeting on April 2nd. Wink, wink. I don't know. It's they're really putting together a lot of great features for editing and adapting VS Code as your primary coding environment. So that's pretty interesting. Then there's one on 4D Write Pro on signing and securing documents. It's more about how to use the 4D crypto key class, which is awesome. Actually, it works. It's got a lot of very relevant, good functionality for today's world. This is they show off a way to sign documents or to check signatures on documents that you're pushing around. And yeah. So it doesn't get into encrypting documents. However, you can also do that with crypto key. So yeah, that's certainly worth a review. Then there's another article on the new class for performing TCP connections. they're in a constant parade of new 4D classes, 4D dot classes, 4D I don't know what you would call the standard 4D classes, so to say. Well, they have a new one for handling TCP connections, which is just a complete revision of any previous offering and with a modern approach. And then there's another one here to highlight, the master HTTP, only two T's, requests with 4D request handlers. Another new look, a revision, so to say, of how to handle web requests. It sort of takes you out of the way we're probably all familiar with using on web connection to branch using case statements or otherwise to route the calls accordingly. This handles it all with HTTP handlers, which are classes and handle all the events and have a full offering of how to do things like serving documents or other files, and just again a modernization of the web serving capabilities in 4D. So great articles, check them out, and also be sure to kick on over to the knowledge base. And Ad's going to just highlight one of the recent tech notes that has come out in the knowledge base here in a moment. Hi, Ad.
Hi, Brent. Hi, everybody. And I want to kind of thank Will Taylor for filling in for me last time. And I'm glad to be back and get a chance to talk to you guys again. So for today, the tech note I want to cover would be the latest one, which is the cache information and management tech note. This is written by Thomas Schellenberger. If you don't know him, he is the author of the info report component that we all know quite well. We use it throughout our support team, as well as our, almost just about anybody who uses 4D would know this component. It's quite a useful component. It has all sorts of information regarding memory consumption, cache, and everything like that. So for this technology in particular, he's really drilled down into some of the inside information about how 4D does manage cache memory, starting from some history a while back in so many versions ago, one by one. We continue to add more features, commands that allows us to gain information about cache, set information, and stuff like that. So if you go to the whole 20 pages of TechNode, you'll find um, definitely there'll be a majority of the information that we can always refresh our memories. Because myself, we always um, think of the knowledge base as one of the places um, to be used to remind ourselves on some of the new technology that Foodie has in supplement to the documentation. And this is also another good resource for the information about Foodie memory and cache management. So hopefully you guys will be able to get a use out of it. And if anything, it is a good refresh memory on how Woody manage the cache and memory information. Okay. And again, the latest information, the latest technology is always available only for 4D partners. After 12 months, it will become available for public. So for you guys who already 4D partners, please feel free visit the knowledge base and download as many tech notes as possible. There's so many things in there that you might find to be useful in your own project. Okay, and that's it from me, Brent.
All right, thanks, Ed. Yep, and we tend to highlight the tech notes, which are more of like a 4D white paper, a deep dive into a particular subject. But there's also great tech tips, which either highlight little things that you didn't know that you can do in the development environment, or solving little problems. It's one of the first places that I go for, if I figure somebody must have solved this question before. Between there and the forums, it's a great resource.
Yeah.
And thanks, Ad, for your team for managing that and making that available. All right. So we've got a great crowd here today. I think I saw 75 participants here at one moment. So apparently Ricardo's struck a chord, so to say. He was striking a chord before the meeting as well. So Ricardo Mello has been with 4D for 12 years now. He was very involved in the Wakanda product when it was offered. You can even see a recording of his first 4DMethod demo from back in 2016 called the Wakanda Digital App Factory. So that's a good blast from the past if you're interested. Ricardo has lived and worked in Brazil, France, the US, and now lives in beautiful Vancouver, Canada. Jelly, and that's a wonderful city. But Ricardo was a musician at a younger age. Probably would ought to be considered still a musician. He played classical guitar with concerts in many countries, including tours in Russia, Europe, Argentina, Brazil, and the US. He's even got 2 CDs released in case you want to add some Ricardo to your collection. But today he's going to make music with AI and 4D. So Ricardo, without further ado, welcome to the 4DMethod Spotlight. Let's take a look at how to integrate AI with 4D.
Thank you, Brent. That's the best introduction I've ever had in my life. Not even my marriage, that was that good.
Oh, well,
I appreciate it.
I should have gotten an invitation.
Listen, I know you guys probably know this, but Brent does so much work on the background for making this thing happen. And he even sent tips to you before the sessions. It's just great the work, and your generosity, Brent, is the reflection of this group. So we really appreciate as a company and myself as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Go on.
All right, so let's start. I follow your instructions. I did even a slide deck, so to show. So let me bring the slide here. I'm gonna ask to share my screen. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Too many things. Okay. So let's slideshow, play from start. So this is going to be a dark presentation with no logos, just words. And then we're going to go through AI and 4D. All that we're going to mention what 4D is doing as well. And we're going to mention an idea. And I was talking to Brent before. The goal of this presentation is to be something actionable and that you guys can use right away. And is going to affect your end user. Right? This is not Kirk mentioned, you're going to show how to be cool and create some codes, some 4D codes with LLMs. No, we're going to really try to bring this to your final user, which makes it interesting, right? Because at the end of the day, they are our best target. So in my agenda, I'm going to do a little intro, a disclaimer. I'm going to propose $1 million question, what I think is $1 million question. I'm going to talk a little bit about LLMs, just in a more philosophical way. And then we're going to see 2 demos. And I'm going to mention also some 4D initiatives. I'm going to tell you how it is going to be structured for the future. Please stop me anytime you want if you guys have questions or anything like that. So let's go for the intro as presented by Brent. I didn't even need that, but just so you know, right now I work for sales. Since I joined 4D, my life in 4D has been 4D product has been always in sales, right? So I switched. I went from being the CTO from Wakanda to being the sales helper here for the Jim's team and inside sales, right? But my degree is in computer science. Long time ago, time I mentioned before I had hair. I worked pretty much as a developer, 12 years. As a manager, IT manager, about 11, and as sales 11. It's like a good crossroads in my life, right? I have a bit of each one of those pieces. And sales is not something new to me. I did sales as well back in the beginning of my career as well, when I was like 24, 25 years old. Okay. And on the IT side, you guys can see here some of the things that I work with. I have been always very fond of databases and everything that data can bring to business. And I start working for digital for those ones that remember, with the VAX VMS, which was an awesome operating system. I love it. With RDB, I worked for them directly in Brazil. Then I changed to the Base Clipper, which was a more like a commercial way of building database for companies and build a little bit of systems. And then I switched to Java Oracle and then Perl Oracle. There was the web coming. And then right early in the web, I was able to work already in 1995 with full web. And then Perl became multi-set with many databases, including Sybase, including MySQL. And then became JavaScript and a lot of things, Node and JavaScript and all that environment from the Wakanda. So it's just to tell you that I kind of know how to code. And I did that before, and I love it. I really something that I think constantly. But I have a disclaimer, and the disclaimer is, I have no prior experience building systems in 4D. Like I have never had in my career, and for many reasons, but never came to me and said, "Okay, this is the company. Let's build a system entirely in 4D." So I never went through that phase. Okay, so this just as a disclaimer, if I may seem a little lost with the interface or sometimes a little bit of the code, give me your hand if you can, if you may. But I still, up to today, I have a software that I do and I use often daily, which is a serverless BI system, which you see in the screen. So it's a web-based system where I bring the whole database to my client and I play with. So it's a lot of fun. I had to build my own database. I had to do define my query language and etc. So I keep still relevant and touching those things, right? So I never really left the development side per se, but I do way less today than I did in the past for sure. So in the process, I was thinking about how LLMs can be helpful to 4D system. That's for me is the $1 million question. Or what I consider for myself the $1 million question that's the one that I want to bring to you. Because as I mentioned before, I want to touch the end user. I want the end user to have the benefit of being touched by the AI through the 4D system. And this is going to be a theme in my whole demos here. Okay. So, but AI for me specifically, I'm talking about my journey right now, right? I was like a little bit oblivious to it since, because you can say that since 2017 you have things about it, but I did not pay attention until I got exposed to Llama, the open source side. Of course, I was baffled by ChatGPT and I used, but I felt like, okay, so this is a huge, large brain that knows everything about everything, and you can ask questions and receive answers, right? But when the open source came, Llama, I said, oh, maybe there's a business case here that can be interesting. I could grab something, put in my machine. I hope so. It turned out to be not like that. But I can put in my machine and maybe train, or maybe tame, or maybe teach how to do things that I want to do specifically. So that was a good start for me to start thinking of the solution that I'm going to show you guys. And then I saw Hugging Face. For those ones that are here that don't know, Hugging Face is pretty interesting. I recommend you to surf that. So what it is repository for a lot of LLMs that are absolutely open source. And they are sometimes trained to do things, right? And in the process, then I start to go, when I saw this, I got bitten by the bug. I said, okay, let me go even before. And I started to look, when is those, why, how did I miss all this? When does it started? And it was with the paper, attention is all you need. And if you don't know as well that, I recommend you to have a little look and look for the author. The author of this paper has lots of videos, YouTube videos, I recommend as well. But there they start to put together what they call this transformers architecture, which revolutionized. And then I went hands-on doing RAGs, exposing vector database, using vector database, post-training. But at the end, I come up to a kind of a conclusion. That's what I'm going to share with you guys. I want to integrate those LLM into existing systems, but how to do it and the way to do it, you are going to see that is so well fitted to our community. I hope you will feel that. That's one of my goals here. So just a brief story, and that's why I mentioned Kirk, that I'm going to mention you in the presentation. And I thought that, I need to pop up in the happy hour to talk a little bit about all those phases and all those things in a more philosophical way and have fun with you guys there. I know that's a great place to do that. As I mentioned, in 2017, the Transformers revolutionized AI with that paper, attention is all we need. And from that, we have spawned a large-scale LLMs starts to emerge. 2021, you have the privates coming really strong. And then 2022, it's amazing that ChatGPT is just 2022, end of 2022. So this is all very new for everybody, right? And the way to use as well, as I mentioned for the $1 million question, is also up to grabs. So 2023, you say open source, Llama, BERT, Hugging Face, there's more models coming and etc. And now we're even in a different phase, right? Some people are talking about agentic AI and etc. We're not going to touch that now, but you're going to see that what we're going to show here is going to help. So, and I promise that's the last slide about LLM, I hope. In fact, when you start to poke LLMs and study and go a little deeper, you'll see that something happened with this. Before, we could not really do language really well or understand language really well because it was a sequential thing. So what this paper that I mentioned, attention is need, is important is because it create the concept of transformers. We have neural networks already in like the way of processing data in a way that simulates the brain. But the transformers make everything being able to get a big, huge text and do everything in parallel and come up with a conclusion. And that changed everything because in that moment, as you guys know, we had one of the biggest companies of today, NVIDIA, which was betting in something completely different, was betting in games and speed and parallel processing, but for gaming industry, and was being successful on that. Then he found the perfect match, right? So that transformers capability of getting data and splitting in many matrices and using pretty much all it does need at the end of the day is algebra and matrix computation. But all that was possible because you have those things that I mentioned to you. Those are very big pieces. And I know this community is very deep. So a talk about that could be in the future as well. But you get the conjunction of neural networks, transformers, which can split that data in many levels of understanding and processing in parallel to the computation GPUs provided by NVIDIA. Now you unleash the possibility to do massive data, to get massive data through the neural network and make it the transformers understand that through the computation GPU. So I hope this is not too crazy for you guys. Just like it's actually a little bit beyond of what we're going to talk here, but I think those contexts are very important for everybody as well. So this just for fun, I wrote in one of those LLMs, create a phrase to explain LLMs using the key elements of neural networks, transformers, computation, GPUs, and massive data. And that's what came out. Large language modules. Model is to harness the power of neural networks and transformers, leveraging massive data sets and computation GPUs to process and generate human-like text, transforming raw information into intelligent, context-aware responses. Yeah, very elegant, and shows actually the power of doing that. With the amount of data that you have, they can create an answer that is as sophisticated as this one, right? Okay, so I'm going to move forward. If I can here with my computer. So by the end of the day, for me, at the end, after all my studies and was me going inside and trying to understand this concept, I understood that it was a big brain, right? It's just a big brain there. And a big brain, you can do a lot of things, right? So a big brain understands language, but also can be thought. And also understand context. And the key here is can be reasonably obedient if well guided. All right. So I'm just spicing up for what to come, right? So in my mind, I thought that, and I hope you guys can see my hands here. The breaking for me was I was seeing the LLMs outside and my system here. And my system would like to ask things to the LLM, right? And I thought that, oh, that's wrong. What we need to do is to get this LLM and embed it in my system. If the LLM is just part of my system as a component, I can maybe do some very interesting things. So that's why I myself in my head, I said, how do I call this? I call microservice LLMs, okay? Just for the sake of the name. Don't know even if this name exists out there. But it's the fact that we're gonna get the LLM and put it as a system component, not out, but inside my system, okay? It's a library. It is something that can answer things as a function, okay? And I will define for the LLM, because the LLM is a very smart brain. It's going to be a very smart component inside my system. I'm going to define a communication layer with that brain. Okay, it's going to be in JSON. And I'm going to prompt that brain with the rules, not only the communication that I am expecting to that smart function, but also some of my business rules, my company's rules, my system rules. Okay, and then back, I receive a JSON as an answer, right? Because I on purposely ask the LLM what I want as a developer for you to be inside my system. I want you to respond in a very specific way, and I'm going to define the way for you to respond. Okay, I have important. This is very cool. This slide here is for me the most important. So. There's a lot of other points as well. With this way of thinking, okay, that now the LLM is inside my system is on top of it, and I'm controlling what the LLM is going to be passing by functions of JSON functions, I can minimize sensitive data. I don't need to send the data of my clients to the LLM, right? I can just ask, guide it exactly what I want to receive in a code style. And it's going to just answer. And then through the code, I will access the data. Simplify my coding, and then I'll access the data. We're going to see how we're going to do that. So, and then also, the advantage is I was fighting for 3 months, learning how to get an LLM from scratch, post-training that LLM with Quantize, with Colora. Those are going to sound a little weird for you folks, maybe. But if you never heard those names, but you have a way to get an LLM and kind of simplify it to a point that is small enough that you can run in your server, in your local, in my laptop, for example, right? But that implies speed, performance is complicated. So for my example, I'm using a third-party LLM. It's called Grok. This one, the first one, not Grok, the Grok, Elon Musk. The Grok was a company that started 1 year ago, and they're very good. They created their own chips, and it's super fast. You guys are going to see. It's mainly for performance. But I'm not too worried on sending my data to them because I'm not sending data. I'm sending rules. I'm sending like hypothetical ways for them to, not hypothetical, but instructions for them to just send me what I want to be actionable inside my 4D system. And if you understand that, you're going to send my whole demo. Okay. And if I do that, I can adapt to my interface right now. I can just leave this meeting right now that we're going to have, and I can pretty much put an action to start thinking about my microservice LLM inside my system. Okay. So it's demo time. It's good. I hope you enjoy so far. First demo, I'm going to get the 4D invoice system, which we have internally. It's an internal. It has customers' invoice reports, and it has a mature system running for, I don't know, 10 years, okay, inside 4D. I'm going to spice it up a little bit. And then, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to give you that code, but then I counted with the great resources of 4D. Mr. Ed, which is in our call today, he helped me 95% here to make the demo better for you guys and to show how we do internally on a separate, component. And that I will share with you guys, okay? And then we have a second demo with Qodly, which is a little bit more audacious in one way. It's different, and you will see it, okay? So far, so good. Any questions? Are you guys hear me?
Yep, yeah, I think we're good.
Good.
No, it's a
All
very, very interesting intro. Thank you.
Let's go.
I actually, Brent,
Yep.
It looks like there's one question in the chat.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
Angel was wondering if you quantized with Clora, Qlora.
Yes, that's correct. Kilora. Yeah. I have done a few techniques, I to be honest, I had to rent, so you guys know, to do that type of work, to retrain an LLM, you need power. And we're talking about massive power here. And then you have some companies like Vast AI and Pod and other companies that they rent a big server for you. So I had two servers, one H100, okay, which is a machine that costs $50,000, I don't know, something like that, that you can rent for like $5 an hour, right? And then through that machine you have power, enough power to then bring your data, because the way that you train an LLM, you got a raw LLM, and you have to create a massive data set, right? And the data set is quite tricky, and you have to rerun and run that many times. That's why you need some sort of power. And that computational aspect of matrix, and we're talking about thousands of matrix being multiplied and et cetera. You need some of those crazy GPUs done by NVIDIA, right? So I have that machine that I was training that, and then I had a smaller one, which I was then, my final result, I was putting in that other machine so I could try in a more affordable way, in a machine that cost $5,000 to $10,000, which could be very interesting for some of our clients, right? That's what I'm engaging right now with the team, so we can have a way to guide our clients that want to go in that path and then want to explore that in even further details, so we can work together with you guys. I hope I answered the question. All right, so let me start here my demo. And again, bear with me. No, I don't need that. Let me just go file, open recent, Grok demo is going to be the first one. Okay. So this is, our internal system. Okay, some names here I messed up, and you can see it's a system with a bunch of buttons and menus, and I know when you open something, you go to more menus and then go to more menus and etc. Right? Here's what we did. We got a AI button. Okay, it doesn't need to be a button. It could be straight on your interface, anyways. The way to adapt is easy. And I copy here on the name of the company. Okay. That's the name of the company by heart. Let's see if it's going to paste well. So I can say just add new invoice, for example. And then it's going to open the new invoice. Or I can say, for example, add new invoice for that company. Go. That will bring that company. I can say, for example, show me all invoices from solution. Or if I want to sophisticate even more, show me all invoices for in March 2021. There we go. Or I can do something like as well, I don't know, open daily sales. And that's going to go generate the data and blah, 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 and give me the report. Okay. So this is the practical application. You can start doing this right now. And when I show you, you're going to say, oh my God, yes. If you put the LLM inside your system and you create a series of rules, you can do this. Okay. So Ed brilliantly, and Ty as well, which is in our team, they built something that's what I'm going to share with you, and it's going to explain how I do this. Okay, which is this little piece here. Okay? We have the same type of thing, and you're going to understand exactly what I do. But the concept here is this: I'm going to teach my LLM that when someone asks me something, I want that to first define what is the action and what is the module that they are talking about. So I can say here, add new invoice, right? So when I ask that, I'm going to show you three things here. First is the information that I passed to it. We're going to go into details here. The important here for me is for you to understand this. This is what I'm getting back, okay? So I'm using the LLM not as this big brain that can answer me about the Roman Empire. No, I'm guiding specifically them. Listen, I have those in my system. This is my system. My system, I have those modules. I can perform a few actions like this. You explain the action. And the beauty is, doesn't matter if you then after abbreviate things or if you sophisticate the things, it's going to understand because it's a very powerful brain. So that's my first request to Grok. And you see how fast it is. It's instantaneous. Because I'm asking something simple. I'm passing some simple information to them as a function and receiving back whatever I decide for me is worth executing in my system. That's why there's no data being passed, right? The data is inside 4D and I'm going to make the action route. So I do a second one because now what I do is like I know the action and I know the module. The way that I conceive this is like instead of having a huge file, text file, explaining all the points of my system, and every time that someone asks something, I send that to the LLM, this whole entire file, which can be huge. I divide my system into little pieces. For example, the invoice pieces has the add, the query, the search, and the LLM will be smart enough to give me that answer first. And then when I ask the second answer, which is here, and I even say, what is the invoice? What is dates? We can go that in detail, but just so you know, I want to be focused on this. This is my response that I got from the LLM. I instructed the LLM to give me, I need a status to see if this is true or not. I want the module that this is going to be impacted. And my modules are this ones. Each one module, I explain a little bit what each one module does, and is already inferred completely by itself. And then in my data, I have all this data, but in this case, I just want a new invoice. So please make the new is new true. and forget all the others. I know what to do. Cool, huh? If okay, look at this. Add new invoice for, oh my God, I got to, I don't think you saw SHZ Solutions net 30 for $5,000. Okay. I'm going to try this. I'm going to ask first, the first one, and I look at the response, add invoices. Did right the first time. The second time, it figure out, probably, let's see if it goes, everything about my detail. It by itself, it defined that, oh, this is the name of the company. Oh, this is terms. I didn't write terms here. I just put the value. And he understood because he has a brain that have seen terms before. And because of my explanation that terms is the number of days that someone may be paying, it kind of implicitly understood that's not 30. And then the value is 5,000. As a developer, okay, as a developer, you know exactly what we are talking here, right? I'm using the LLM just as a smart function in my system. LLM is not this big thing that I feel like knows the Roman Empire. No, it's inside my system and I guide it and I do whatever I want with, and I can guide the answers. I'm going to show you an interesting one here, very specific. I mentioned when we run, I said, open daily sales. Or it could be something else as well, another report, but let me say, because this is easy to type. Open daily sales, right? Then ask the first one. What's the answers? Run reports. You understand? Because it knows that I have a report called daily sales, and I kind of describe a little bit what is there. I don't need to describe in great details. It's just a general detail, and it already understands. But when I ask the second time, let's see what happened. As a developer, I decide that what I want to receive is the method. And I explain to the LM, listen, I have this, and this method. When you ask for a sales report, add the method execute report in spreadsheet. And it's going to give me the method that I need to run. And then I can run. And I have here the date, I have the groups, all groups, because I could have saying here for inside sales, which is a group. It's probably going to understand perfectly. Run reports. I ask the second time. Group IS, inside sales.
So
if you're not blown away with this, I love it because this creates an incredible possibility for you to define exactly what you want and how. And this is for every single developer here has their own way. And you're going to just teach the LLM your own way to be responsive to you. Yes, someone was about to ask
Oh, sorry, I was the one interrupting. So what's the difference between the ask one and ask two? I guess I
Oh, sorry. Yeah, great question. I may not. I probably didn't explain that correctly. I could do it in one call, okay? But to do it in one call, you see that the file that I'm sending here to the LLM, explaining what is to run a report. This one is specifically to run a report, okay? So I have, because you have to pass instructions to the LLM to give you back answers, right? I could have put all those files that I use explaining my system in one file, right? If I do that, if I have done that, I will just send one request and receive back the final answer as you saw it, right? But I thought that my system could be large enough that this file could be huge. And I don't want it to blow every time that I request something. I don't want to send this huge file every time. So what I did is just like I did in two questions, because the first question is just going to define what action and what module. And then I know internally that I have a file. Actually, we do that automatically. The name of the file is run reports.txt. And run reports.txt have the different information. Let's go now. Maybe, was that clear or not? Because then I can show you what I asked for the first time. This is the first time. What I'm asking to them is this. You are in a system, inside a sales system. It should be invoice here, sorry. That always respond with a JSON object containing only two keys, action and module. Based on the question provided, determine the most appropriate values for these keys. And I explain a little bit what each query is. I said my reports here, what they are, right? and I do a little thing. So all I want for the first one is to give me this little snippet. So I can then load the file that is specific for run reports. And then here is the one specific for run reports with the module, with the method that I mentioned that receive, when I do a search, I don't need the method, or in this case, I didn't need the method. So I don't need this information here. If you run the search some invoices for a specific date, I don't need this key on my return object. So I don't have that. So all I did is to split my huge description of my file in small chunks. And I just, in 2 queries, really quick, I got one that defines what file should I use to really answer the question. Did I answer the question, Brent?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
So Ricardo, doing that then really reduces the number of tokens that you're consuming also in that exchange, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's Grok is free, for example. I haven't used this forever. I don't know for a commercial application. For sure, you have to look a little bit at the advantage of that, but it's not, you're consuming very little if you split your quests in small chunks, right? And you can go as detailed as you want with the things that you do. And bear in mind, I did this to explain, to show you what would be to understand what is to run a report, because each report has some specific things. See, for detailed sales, you need to do the date convert in some ways and to add a key or something, right?
Right.
Some rules that you can do. Okay. But for example, this information here could be in one file. This information here could be in another file. And then I could have just the guidelines for a specific. And then internally, I know that I need to compose 2 or 3 files to get the result, but internally. I hope this is not too vague. Yeah, I know it's hard to understand why. So how those, this text here create that, right? But you just explain to the LM, oh, I need this. I need a JSON object, the same way as you would do as if you're building a function. You say, okay, I need to, my object back needs to be status, module, method, and data. If I have that, I can execute internally 4D to then create the result that my user wants.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So now I want to show you the second demo. Okay. But no, actually before. So this is a way for me to transform the interface. You can put your whole interface and the whole search and the whole inputs of your application inside. And it is smart enough to understand that, for example, if I say just show invoices for, I'm going to say the show inv cost solutions, right? Let me see if it's going to do it. It did. I didn't even explain correctly what it is, but he figured out, with that phrase, that invoices, inv is invoices, it is the client, the company, and he did, right? Because I'm talking about a very smart brain behind this. I put up the rules, and then I can bend the rules here. And if something goes and is not yet prepared, I can just add to my text file and say, oh, when you encounter this situation, do this, and you'll just adapt. Okay. Let me then kill this one. So this demo, I will, interface, this interface here, I will put in my GitHub repository. So you're going to see exactly how I'm calling and how the files, that I'm using. And you're going to see that's a bunch of files. And I run the first one. The first one gives me the inputs to decide which is the second file. And that could be 1, 2, 3 files. The thing is so fast that you could be dealing with multiple calls or just one call that you pass a lot of information and receive the result in the way that you want. But again, I'm not sending anything that is compromising here, right? I'm not saying the data, actually. I'm just saying things internal to my system. They don't even know how my method, for example, when I run that report, how my method works, right? You minimize quite a bit the sensitive data if you think like that. So the next one, let me quit this. Yeah. So the next one, it is a Qodly demo. This has been, to be honest, we did it yesterday. This Qodly demo, because I showed this to Laurent, exactly what I showed to you guys. And he said to me, that's very good, but not enough. And I'm talking about Laurent Hibadia here. He said, yeah, I want to see you asking anything to your database, right? And bring me back that information. I understand that it's very practical to, open screens and do things in the thing, but also I want you to respond to me with my queries, like in a query format. So we did in Qodly. And I was helped by Fadwa and the team in Morocco with Ayub, and they helped me to put this together in less than 24 hours. So bear in mind, it might be a little wobbly. We'll see how that goes. So, oh, no, sorry, file open. It is the AI demo, if I believe. Yep. So let me open here. Sorry, apparently I have, oops. No. I'm still there? Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to open just the design Qodly Studio. Yeah. Please run. Okay. So this one is a little bit different. And we did, as I mentioned, it was 24 hours. I'm going to show straight rise through. Yeah. Let me show the data model first. So I have contacts and invoices, okay? Contacts here, we did very basic. ID, name, last name, address, country, zip code, age, and then invoices, value, contact ID, product, company, and etc. Okay? But I have the relationship as well established between the two, okay? So if I go back to the Qodly Studio, and I run this, and I preview this, okay? I can ask something like, show me all invoices for Hiroshi. Would that work? Let's see. Yeah, I did. The invoices are here. Home decor is speed. No. But let me show you. So I'm sending something to the LLM, asking a specific thing, and look what I'm asking the LLM to answer me. How do I query this as a data class, as an order style? I give a little instructions to the LLM, but it's giving me exactly this: the S context query, name, Hiroshi, invoices. This is highly complex because not only build up the whole thing for me, and I can just execute, and that's why I'm executing here for you straightforward, which understood that, there's an invoice Hiroshi. Oh no, I need to query first context for Hiroshi and then get the invoice, which is a related entity. All right. Or show me all contacts with age greater than 30. Oops. Greater than 30. Go. DS contacts, look at this line here. DS contacts, query, age 30. It did everything correct and then give me the answer. I love it because I'm showing you the file that I'm sending to them. Okay. And in this demo, I send just one call. I don't do in two calls because I said, well, let's do like straight. It's just one call. And I pass always the same file. And is able to do what you guys just saw here.
Okay. Can you try like more like Lexus-specific language? Like instead of asking that, can you ask, show me contacts about to become 30?
About
is that smart or?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know if it would do that. So tell me again, show me all contacts.
About to become 30.
To become 30. Let's see what it's going to interpret. I don't know, but maybe this is a good cost. Well, he put like 29, which is not bad. It's not bad at all.
It's pretty good. Still looking for age, right?
Huh?
Right.
It's good. Still looking for age.
Yeah, he's still looking for age. He understood that you need to look for age and then put it 29. He's about to turn 30. See, I'm
very impressive.
It's
that's a correct answer. That was a correct answer.
I know. Yes.
Yeah, without a birth date, that was the best you could do, really.
Yeah. So listen, just a disclaimer here. I did this very quickly in 24 hours with some help from Oracle, but we just did entity selection, right? I don't have, because my next step here, and I hope you guys are going to do that, because it's not that hard. You guys are going to understand why. It's just I received this object, I can just do it. I'm defining the type of the object here, but I need to define the type of object where is not entity collection, is a number. For example, I would like to say here, give me the average, or give me the sum, or give me, do you see what I mean? That then the result is just a number, a result. And then I will just show here the result as well, okay? But you will see that it's just a fraction. This is just a detail on the process that with 2 more hours of coding, it could be done. It's very impressive. I'm showing you what is the file that I'm sending to the LLM, okay? If I'm not wrong, shared probably, assets, yes, instructions. I'm giving one file for instructions, okay? See if I can increase, yeah. Not too much, maybe. That's good. Okay. First, I'm saying you that you are an AI assistant that responds strictly in JSON format. That's important, because that's my, my microservice LLM working here. I just want a JSON file. Then I define to them, to the LLM, how is my JSON file done, right? So I have fields. The fields is the list of data class name fields, module to be deduced from that. So I say module must be deduced from the context. Data class is the right concatenation of 40 functions need to answer the question. You should add full name of the function, like, and then I give an example. It's not that long. That's it. Type can be 2 values, single value or entity selection. Determine this value based on supported function associated, on the supported function associated. You see that later. If none, use entity selection. Okay. Here are the data classes. I show my data classes contacts. I show my data classes invoices. There is the related field here. Didn't explain much. I just said related field to the data class invoice on a one-to-many relationship, on one-to-one. And then I started defining 2 main functions for them, because this is a search query, so query and all. And I say to them, actually, it's interesting because in some my trials, the angel would use both. And I said, no. You have to use one or the other. Decide based on the context, right?
Right.
And then I put like supportive functions like count, average. This is where it comes the part that I was already trying to build the one for the single value, but I couldn't finish. So, and poor people in Morocco, they need to sleep as well sometime. My friends in Morocco did a great job. So it will be the support. I could list a few here, but also pay attention to this phrase here. If the question is more than one for the function, please concatenate the main function with as many supported functions needed in the for the order style. Yeah, I say that in for the order style. And importantly, the LLM that I'm using here is Llama, and is the latest Llama, which already had time to compress quite a bit of the new order information. So you can just use it, right? So I have a few. So this is only the file that I need to create what you just saw. Those are the instructions, and you figure out, and that's amazing. Show me, I didn't even know if it would work. Show me your context about to become 30, and did it perfectly, right? And
but in addition to that instruction file, you said Llama knows 40 order, or it knows some about 40 order.
Yeah, but it's embedded in the LLM. I'm using the latest Llama, and probably it compress the whole web to do the training. And in that, because it's a much more recent LLM, it had the 4D information from order. It kind of understood from me. I don't need to explain that much. Already I start to get the results back. Right?
Will those instructions be shared with the demo as well? Because that's very important.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course, of course. But my point here for all the community is that you you need to put your hands on the dirt and start to get wet with these things and start to play with instructions and also think about, this is a system. I control this system. I control what I'm going to send and what the answers that I want back. The LLM is just a servant for me. I'm not the servant of the LLM. It's just a function that is super smart and can understand a lot of things. And I can do, I can create a new field if I need to run something specific for that routine. And I can just teach them in the language. And the funny part is sometimes you do write prompt. This is the prompting, right? So you're prompting. And you know what you can do? Just rerun that through an LLM. So listen, have a look on my prompt and see where I can get better. And it will just describe even better for you. And you go in this process, and at the end, you have something where you can play with and your system together.
This llama is running on your local machine. It's not going out to the web.
No, I'm in both cases, I'm using Grok, right?
So it's going out to Grok, sending this information. It's not local on your machine.
Exactly. But the beauty here is what I mentioned before. With this type of microservice architecture, you're minimizing what you were sending. You're really not sending because one thing is if you send all your data to them, the data of your clients and their sensitive information. Here I'm not. I'm using the LLM as a function. So it's just back and forth with the logic. I'm using them as a logic thing that I can adapt and then make it work for me. So then I can execute the functions, execute the commands, and then get the data. That's a very important distinction there. I hope that's very clear. See, if you send that to the LLM, what they can do with this? Not much. There's not a lot of, it tells a little bit about my system. Maybe it has a little bit of the field's name here and etc. Yes, but I'm not actually sending the data itself, right?
I misunderstood. I thought at the beginning you said you wanted us to all be local on your machine.
Yes.
But really it's not. You're actually calling Grok, but you're not sending. Okay, it's not local on your machine. You're not doing launch controller process command line. Do this thing and get it all back.
Yes, not, and that's my proposal to Brent. So we do another one where I can show you how to do that. And
that's possible too. That's possible too.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
But need big hardware. Need big hardware for that.
Yes, I was explaining that this involves renting a powerful machine that you have to retrain your LLM to be quantized and then being in a way that can fit your machine. We have to work with your machine. There's a little bit of a okay, that's my sales side. If you guys need help to do that, if you think that we can help. We have the knowledge to do that.
But if you're using QLoRa to do sampling, you don't need a large parameter set. You could do something with like a Ollama 7 billion parameters, which is already about 7-8 gigabytes. So you don't need a large model from there.
Yep.
And you can run that on local hardware.
I'm running multiple LLMs on one GPU that I have on my server at home.
Yeah.
So you could do that locally. It'll just take a little bit to sample with QLoRa to get it tuned exactly how you want it. Yeah.
And the problem here is performance, right? The performance, you have to, if you spend $10,000 in a machine and you quantize enough and you define your parameters correct and you train well, then you can have something that can have a response time that is good, that is okay. And that's the key point here, right? So you don't want to be in an interface and clicking a button and wait 20 seconds to get an answer, right? If it is something mundane like accessing the menu as we're doing before and etc., you want something that is extremely snappy, right? You can get that. I have some examples already doing that, right? But then I said, but to show that we need a whole new event. Event, because we need to go step by step so you guys can understand, right? Because there's not one solution fits all. It's not like you do once and then this is so specific to your system. That's another point. You are giving the business rules of your system, right? Now it works internally, module by module or something like that, that you want answers. And that's very specific to your system. So to teach that to an LLM, you have to, do a little bit of work if you want to have the speed really good.
Yeah, sorry, that was a little bit of false advertising. But Ricardo told me before the meeting that in order to show both this and the localized setup, it's probably makes more sense to do it in two separate demos.
You're totally welcome to stop by at happy hour on Friday if you want to come play with this. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
We'll be
because
there.
what you could do is you still use
there.
the API. So whether it's local or you're using Grok or XAI or whatever have you, you could still use the HTTP request class to interface with
100%.
it.
100%, exactly. If you do locally, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to put there and put an API in front.
Yeah, it's just where you're servicing from your LLM, whether it's cloud-based or local.
Exactly.
It still uses an API.
Yeah. To be honest, the main idea here is the microservice type of architecture, right? So if you invert that sentence and put that to work as a function, as a really good function that does things for you in a smart way, then I think you guys are going to do marvelous things with your systems. It could be not only to touch the interface itself and simplify the interface to some clients, also to create some sort of a search and data analytics that are going to help them quite a bit.
There was a question in the chat. How does your code deal with an incorrectly formatted response from the LLM? What if you get garbage back?
Yeah, you just say refine with your. I think it is in the demo. You say refine. What does it say? Go. There's no data. Yeah, but it's supposed to do something else as well. It's like contact your, when it doesn't know what to do, it can just be plain honest and say to you, hey, you put in instructions. If you don't know how to answer, you don't need to be God in this point. If you don't know how to answer and there's not enough data, just say contact your developer and ask them to put this type of knowledge into the system, and you can just move forward from that very easily. I hope that helped as well. So let me go back to a little bit of the second part, not second part, but do you guys have more questions about this? You guys are gonna have the code. I'll put the Qodly and then the other one, the Grok. You're gonna see exactly how we're doing. It's just an HTTP call to Grok. You need the key, which I'm not gonna give to you. You're gonna go there. You need to go there and get one for you. Get a key, put there, and then it should perform this relatively okay. Especially the one here. I think this one is more interesting because you have the full data and etc. The other one, you don't have the data, right? So I'm not going to be able to do that for you because I want to show a real example, and that's our own code. But for this one, you're going to have this data, including a method that generates the data, so you can even put more in, etc. There's already a code there that creates some data for you. So,
Ricardo, that may turn out to be the single most compelling reason most of us actually sign up for anything with Qodly. Just in my opinion. Speaking strictly for myself, really. But
yeah, and it's coming. Qodly is the one that is advancing a lot with AI as well. There's more things coming, and then we're going to do a lot of things to facilitate that type of work. To embed LLMs. V21 is going to have a lot of things related to AI. Actually, in that scenario, let me just.
But when you do this from inside 4D, it's a single HTTP request call with the content being this instructions file and a bit of other data, and you get back JSON.
You got it. Yes.
That's all. One line.
Yeah. Wow. And the 4D side, we do two, right? I don't know if you were here when I showed the 4D side.
I did. I saw the 2 one, but I didn't understand how it worked.
Okay. It's just that I don't want to. I could do the same here. Do you see here? What I did is this. I have a long file, right? The other one, well, it's not a long, it's a file that explains a little bit how to do the example that I just showed you. Okay. The other one, I have more modules. I have report, I have invoice, right? So I didn't want to put all the rules in one file and become like a huge file, just one. I could, but I didn't want to put it in a one file. I thought it was too much trouble. So what I did is like, I did one little call that I always perform that defines what is the final file that I need to send, right? Just to simplify. So then my files are smaller. And it's specific for that action that the client wants to do. Too confusing? Oh, maybe I can show, can I can show us something. Okay, let me show you something. Maybe that's going to, that's another project. Let me show you something that maybe is going to help to understand that part specifically, the one that I do with 4D. Oh, my AI projects. Okay, so okay. So let me close this. Let me open this a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. Okay. Okay. So here are my files, the instructions. Okay. I have lots of instructions here. Okay. I have instructions on how to run reports. I have instructions on how to query invoices, specific to how to query invoice, because each module has specificities that needs to be explained, right? Well, all I'm doing here is creating libraries, text file libraries with the content of my system. To open invoices, I have this. It's way smaller. But to open invoices is easier. To add invoices, I have this, which is not so small. It has more things because it has invoice details, dates, financial details, and it's, I mean, the fields. This is overblown. I don't even need to have all that information here, but okay. But my point to you is like, if I had to do just one call, I'll have to concat all those files together and then send to the LLM at once, right? Do you get my point? So what I do, actually, I call first something that I call action. I always call this one. And this one is going to come back with a very specific result, a very small JSON file with just the action and the module. And if you see the name of my files is an action and a module. And then in my second call, I pass the same question that came here, I'm passing to the second one as well. But then is specific for that particular action in that module. Better?
You're doing a replace of the line 32 questions, the input. That's where you're doing the replace.
This is the question. That's what, when you type, what is the invoices for 1, 2, 3? Right. I put it here. Yeah, it's just inference here. So that question is going to be here. Yeah, and I pass this thing to the LLM, right?
Well, this is too simple. There's something else going on. This is just way too simple to get these answers back. You're hiding something from us. You're hiding something from us.
I am not. I swear to you. You're going to have the code. You're going to see it. I'm hiding nothing.
I'm impressed. I am absolutely impressed that it's that easy. Build a file, good instructions, guidelines.
Yeah.
Send it off an HTTP request. Yeah. Get back to JSON.
Yeah. Because you were doing the context that I mentioned. You were making the LLM working for you as a function, as a library. You don't pass any data. And then after, when you receive the response back, you still have to do your work, because as a developer, you have to get that set of instructions, that JSON that came to you, and then apply that, right? Is this one what? Is the action the add and invoices? So I need to open this module or that module, or etc. But I can guarantee you it's exactly the same thing that I'm showing you. And you'll see here.
That's the need to do more Laurent was talking about. When you get back that JSON, it should write the code for you, and the 4D code for you to give you the answer.
And that's what this example does, right? You saw that this example is doing right there, which could be, this example could be done in 4D as well. There's no way that this could not do in 4D. Like show me Oh, invoices. Oops, invoices for Hiroshi. Again, this one I defined that what I want to get back is exactly something to execute straight to the database. You can do exactly the same instructions here that I gave to you, put in your 4D code, and you're going to have this. I don't know. If you can execute that in 4D, then it's for you to tell me. But you can do exactly the way that you can compose after your query to the database. You can ask anything for them. It's going to separate for you. It's going to create the fields. It's going to create any type you want, any module. You just explain.
There's a question in the chat. So what service level do you have and what pricing for the Grok LLM are you using?
I was free.
Okay. That's all free.
Yeah, Grok Cloud. Yeah, have my account there, and yep.
That's a good price.
Yeah, I'm using free this one. Well, of course, there is something related to pay somewhere. I'm bet if you're doing hundreds and thousands of it, they may decide to do that. But remember, your load is very light. You're not doing a big load here. You're not asking them to. You could, but you're not sending all your data to them and asking them to do a huge analysis for you or anything like that. You're just doing that in your software, but making them think for you and be able to change the interface in a way that understands in a way that you can use. It can translate the interface in a way. So, but Grok is this, and Grok also has. You can actually. The nice thing about Grok is just one thing. Oh, pricing. You have pricing here. There you go. We have some price here. Token and etc. If you use those, some are cheaper than other. Oh yeah, you can use this one for sure. It's almost nothing.
So Ricardo, one question. In this case, because you're using Grok, you don't need the quantized version of Llama. You're using Grok
exactly
to take advantage of that, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm taking advantage that those guys develop why I chose Grok is because they created a super fast response for the calls. They're even faster for me than ChatGPT and anything. They build their own chip specifically to work with those LLMs. It's very interesting what they're doing. So it's super fast. So that's why for me to work in a system where I need to change the interface, I think it will be almost like mandatory. In my mind, if it was my system, it needs to be immediate. Okay, it needs to be immediate, but I don't want to send data to those guys. Okay, let's make the rules and just send me what I need to execute. Help me with my code itself, translating that question to something that I think that I can process after.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you wanted to not use Grok, but use, say, ChatGPT,
same thing.
You do the exact same format and it would still give you back same answer?
Yeah, well, LLMs vary to each other. I would say that if you give those sentences, the instruction here that I mentioned,
yes.
I love this. You guys are super excited. That's nice. If you give this text here, okay?
Yes.
This text here to ChatGPT, to Llama 80 billion or 70 billion, whatever billion they have right now, Anthropic, Claude, it will be the same. Wow. What would not be the same? What would not be the same is that if you choose to work with something maybe way cheaper, with less parameters and etc. But if you do that, then you have to, compensate with more instructions. That's what I would say to you at this point, right? You may not understand things like those ones that I'm showing to you. I'm using Llama 7. I can maybe show somewhere here. Classes, Grok handler. There you go. Llama 70 billion. You see it? Look, I have the API here. Okay, that's the code. Don't judge me. You're using, and that's what actually Ed helped me quite a bit. I have an API key, okay, so you have to have that. You have to get an API key on Grok, on ChatGPT, any one of those. I have the call, the instructions, and I just gonna, here, this is my code that is doing that work. That's it. I don't have anything else. With that code, in the example that I gave to you, you can run it. This code here and the instructions that I just showed you. The text file. The text file. And listen, I'm not being very careful here. You could do this way better than me, you know, or not than me, but the one that we did here for the demo. The demo are just showing the concept, right? But you could have a level of sophistication on this interaction between you and the LLM machine, and they answer exactly what you want to get in a detail, and you can treat better the errors. For example, here I put something. See here, if you execute formula and it doesn't go well, ask your developer to support this request, and then you will come to you. Maybe you ask something that the LLM did not understand, and then you come back. What would you change?
This is probably a good place to address another question in the chat that you probably do want to have extra safeguards in your own code that certain things don't get run. Such as
you're absolutely correct.
The user says, delete all data or drop tables or format C.
I tried to do that. And the problem is, or even a command, right? It's not going to go well because I force that's the strange part. Remember the beginning of my instructions? This is very important. There's almost a safety guard here already embedded, because he's going to answer me in JSON format. I need a JSON format to be back. I'm not going to accept anything there's no any explanation, additional text or formatting outside of JSON. So the JSON object after is going to be executed by me. You're correct. If they implicitly say something in the JSON object that when you run that cause you to delete something, you got to be cautious. Yes. So there's a little bit of safeguard there. You're correct. This is like a eval for JavaScript, right? I understand. I don't need, listen, we don't need to, sorry to interrupt, but here on the method, where it was, rock handle, yes. We use the execute formula here, right? But not necessarily needs to be there. I don't know, maybe there's easier ways to receive that.
Couldn't you include in your instructions, don't allow deleting of all data or some extra instructions? So
sure you can.
It would do the filtering for you if you put enough instructions in there. We're not going to allow deleting of data. We're not going to, you could say, don't allow these things.
Absolutely. Absolutely, you can do that. You can do that. Yeah. You just instruct them to do not. As I mentioned, it just came in a JSON file. So it's not, this execute formula here is based on a result that is coming from the JSON, right? So we cannot stay straight. You have to then trying to bypass my JSON structure to then execute. But you could. But you can have safeguards here as well, right? On the code level as well. The important thing, in my perspective, is for you to understand that when you do something that is show all contacts and go, right? That you define what you want to receive here and instruct the entity to give you the information. And you'll follow your rules, right? And here I have all the contexts and whatever. I'm just showing, right? Mainly I'm executing the S context though. All right. I hope I am in some spot there.
I think you got a lot of wheels turning.
Can you go back to the AI Demo Explorer window just behind that? Go back to the 4D window. Behind this window, that one.
Yeah.
Line 27. That's how you specify a timeout with HTTP request. If it doesn't finish in 15 seconds, move on.
To be honest, I didn't write that. Ed did.
I haven't seen that code before.
Yeah. there is a little bit of a way, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's what would be would need to know from someone that more knowledge. I don't know if Ed is still in the call, but I think you were right. It should be something like that.
That's correct. Yeah. Otherwise, if you don't add weight, it's asynchronous, and then you have to
Yeah, makes sense.
yeah, you have to handle it
Oh,
asynchronously.
this makes it synchronous when you put the weight in.
Yep.
Wait
Yeah.
up to 15 seconds and then continue on.
Yeah, it's awfully powerful to use it asynchronously though. If you just want to crank out a bunch of calls that you don't care to wait for the response from, if that's, if that's useful.
Yeah. Okay, so let me just do something here, just so then we can maybe talk more if you guys want. I know that's getting late. I just want to finish something, which is okay. Different grid slides. It's okay. Next one. So next talk, data privacy, no external calls to third-party companies, open source LLM. And we have two ways of doing that, right? Some of the people in the call already were mentioning. I didn't notice who was, but you can just grab an LLM, quantize, and then put in a machine and try to run that, right? And define that for you. But also what you could do is that train that LLM on your instructions already. So you don't even need to send them those instructions. You see the difference? The first one, I'll have to send those instructions every call. The second one, I may not need to send those instructions. The machine, the LLM is already trained on my system. Okay? That's a different level. And that's why I mentioned that you need to, so if I show, I would like to show you guys this, but so you know, it's a little cost intensive and it would require me stepping out of 4D a little bit as well to show you a few other things, but it's possible. And we are working on, that's the good news here as well. 4D is working on that to maybe facilitate a lot for you in V21. So you're going to be able to do things with V21 that is going to be very AI oriented. I want to make sure that you guys understand that 4D is planning a few things with the AI. AI became for us like is the goal right now to go really deep and try to help the developers in the same way that we're showing here this presentation, but to go even further. And there's many efforts. One of the efforts is the product itself. So you're going to have something like 4D Write Pro AI, which will help you to write reports, greatly. And Qodly, we're going to have quite a bit of things that you can also build forms and etc. with AI. Okay, we're going to have configurations for the LLMs integration in V21, hopefully. And then a 4D vector database is in the discussion right now. So this is quite good as well. If you guys don't want to, if you're not familiar,
say that again.
A vector database.
Yeah, 4D is.
So it's in discussion right now. So we are. I don't know if it's going to be for V21, but there is a discussion right now that needs to be part of the 4D ecosystem. So in the vector database, it's kind of key to deal with LLMs, right? So I know that's an active conversation right now. And I'm going to add to the GitHub as well a demo of a video by Dave Dazanko. He was very nice. He sent to us a nice video of a Qodly application where you can tag images automatically. So you can add an image and it will put all the tags that are related to the image on the database.
It seems like it would be useful to have 4D be able to provide some of the description of your data structure.
You're good, my friend. Yes, yeah. Exactly.
There you go. Yeah.
Good touching. We're going to do a lot of simplification. So in the integration of the LLMs, that we're going to facilitate the way the LLM is going to understand your system. Imagine exactly your point about it. Imagine if you, with one click, you get an LLM to understand your whole model.
Awesome.
That will be sweet, right?
Especially, yeah, it knows the language as well. How your methods are called, which data classes they deal with.
Yeah.
That
So
has a
this will
lot
be
of
a reason
potential.
to upgrade to V21. This will be an upgrade, a reason to upgrade to 4D V21.
Come on, there's a lot of reasons to upgrade to V21.
Well, but this is one.
This is one. This is a good one.
This is
Yeah.
a very compelling one.
That's the right word. That's the right word. Very compelling one.
Compelling one is a good one. Yes, yes. And I think that's it. That's it. That's the presentation. If you guys want to talk anything else, I know it's getting late. But if you guys have patience and time, I'm still good.
That was a fantastic demo, and I'm sure going to be one of the more popular ones of late for people to rewatch and try to understand it in more depth.
Yeah,
And
probably a lot of views, probably a lot of YouTube views on this one, Brent.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, Ricardo, do you have, is there a GitHub link for this already, or will that be up later today or tomorrow?
To be honest, I cranked this in like the last 5 days, and I'm a little bit behind on that particular stuff, but I'll get to you guys today. I'll get to you guys today all the elements.
Nice, thank you.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, yeah. This is because there's good stuff here. I mean, I just anxious to play with it.
It's a good start to the conversation. It's I think all of us are thinking about how this could be applied to our own products and projects.
Yeah, that's the thing that compelled the most, right? Because you were going to adapt the answer, the JSON answer, or the communication level the way you want. It doesn't need to be JSON, it can be something else as well if you want. It can be plain text if you want as well. But you're going to adapt to the things that you have, right? So the things that are important for your system, for the structures that you created yourself. Some people have rules for completely different things for accessing modules and performing actions in their system. And you just reflect that. And not only you have the benefit of the LLM helping you on the process, it's also, I have seen it, that if you divert the interface a little bit to the prompt, and then someone to the prompt to be able to type a few things, what happened is you have a little bit of implicit documentation of how your system kind of works, or the rules, or some business rules. Because as you guys all know here, business rules are so vital for the business that you do. You're good doing that. This is a phenomenal community because it has the good developers and the 4D product that make you tailor-made pretty much everything for every single client. And that is super powerful. And so I wish I could see some of the results if you guys work on this. Don't hesitate to contact me if you want my input or anything. I'm really open to this, guys. If you feel like anytime, just send me an email, ricardo.mello@4d.com. And if you have something to show, if you have something to discuss, if you have doubts about whatever I did, just let me know.
Great. Well, that was a fantastic demo. Just wanted to say thank you to you, Ricardo, and everybody at 4D for the support as usual, and also obviously to the community. Without you guys, then we don't have a group. If there's any other questions, there is a dedicated topic on the forum for this demonstration, for this meeting, and getting a lot of accolades on the chat here. I'll be sure to make the chat available as well on the let's see, are you guys seeing my screen? No. Okay. Well, anyways, you know what's normally there. So anyways, yeah, great stuff, and I'm sure we'll talk about this a lot more in coming days and coming years and coming versions of 4D. So thanks a lot.
Thank you all.
Yep, great job. Thank you.
I look forward for the next. Let's go, Brent.
All right, yeah, let's get it on the calendar. Sounds good.
Sounds good. Take care, guys.
All right, bye.
All right.